Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a historic Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. Show number 150 here at Shea. I can't believe I've been doing this for 150 weeks. I think we did 151, but we lost the show due to technology. It's gone somewhere in like bouncing off a satellite in Mars or something like that. It's a rare, as a matter of fact, I like maybe like 70 years from now when I'm long dead, they'll unearth the unearthed episode of the long lost missing episode of the Jimmy Palumbo Show.
Jimmy, you're never going to believe this, not to cut you off, but yesterday I was approached by somebody else to do a podcast. And I said, yeah, of course, let's talk, blah, blah, blah. I got the studio here, obviously. And they're like, yeah, actually I was talking, my dad's friends with somebody who is at Undefeated Media. And they said your uncle did a podcast there. And I was like, uncle did a podcast. I was like, I don't have any uncles that do a podcast. And then I was like, and then I looked at the information. I was like, you mean Jimmy Palumbo? No, it's not my fucking uncle. It's like, but it's Uncle Jimmy Day.
Uncle Jimmy Day.
I was like, what the fuck? How does that even make sense?
Great, that's so great. All right, I'm doing a show with my nephew, Dave Sturcho here at Shea. But of course, we open up our show in a very fine way. And this is kind of unique because it's brought to you by the Jimmy Palumbo's opening baseball card bit. Brought to you by Absolute Eyewear. Getting involved. Jay Bird, Janine Michaud, of course, is skiing in Vail or Beaver Creek with my sister and my brother and my cousin. The entire family's there except.
How did you? I was going to say, how did you miss this invite?
Because I'm dedicated to the show, Dave, and we have to do.
You could have had a show from the slopes, man. That would have been cool.
I know, but we don't have the technology for that. I can barely do it. It takes us an hour to get set up from downtown Mawa.
I get the 10-minute pre thing when you're on there. And you're like, oh, I hate this fucking thing. What am I doing? I got nothing. This don't work. Why does this look like this?
Because it doesn't work. Every time I log on, it seems different to me. That's because it's me. But however, so hello to all my family skiing in Vail while I'm not. But I have a skiing story coming up later on in the broadcast. Okay, my card is a guy who, all right, when I was a little guy, very young, you're not going to remember this guy at all.
Obviously.
Dave. This guy I thought he was like, because the Yankees weren't any good, so this guy was like Jordan in terms of baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1982 card of famous Oakland A, Vida Blue. Do you remember, even heard of that name, Vida Blue? Okay.
Not a shot.
Okay. I'm about to educate you. Now,
right,
Vida Blue pitched from 1969 to 1986. Pretty long time. 17 years in the league. He was 209 and 161 with an ERA of 3.27. He played with Oakland, the Royals, Oakland, the Giants, the Royals, and back to San Francisco. Now, he pitched 3,300 innings, all right, struck out over 2,000 batters. He was a lefty. Right. He was Cy Young and MVP in 1971. Okay, now this made me laugh. His football, so football in his senior year of high school, which means this was the late 60s, okay? I don't even know if everybody had a single bar, and some teams probably had no helmets back then. Okay, I laughed at this. I don't know if you're going to find this is funny. His senior year in football, he threw for 3,400 yards and 35 TDs. You got to understand, that's in the late 60s. This is like with the Four Horsemen and everybody's running the
where everybody ran the ball.
And this guy's slinging it, right? He was like Nolan Ryan. He was that good. He got a scholarship to Notre Dame or Purdue, but his dad died, so he took the MLB money because back then when you're 18, you got instead of going to college, you just get, nowadays it's NIL, but he was a top football prospect. He took the MLB money. His dad died, had to help out his family. Now, he started off, he struggled. He really struggled with Oakland. His first start, he threw a one-hitter, and they just said, you got to get better than that. So his second start, he threw a no-hitter. So there you go. I mean, imagine if that happened now, we would have monuments set up for him.
I feel like if you remember, you obviously remember Hideo Nomo when he first got to the bigs. I feel like
do something crazy like
his
that?
first couple starts were like, damn, and then little by little just fell off.
Yeah, Fernando Valenzuela had crazy stat. But in 1971, now this is something. You've been in the arguments of who was better, Dwight Gooden or Ron Guidry. You ever get in those discussions?
No.
Gooden in 86 and Guidry in 70. Yeah, Gooden was like 24-4, and I think Guidry was 23-8 their ERAs. But how come no one talks about Vida Blue in 71 was 24-8 with a 1.82 ERA, 8 shutouts, and 300 Ks. Okay, if he played today, he'd be making 70. He'd be laughing at Judge with his little contract. Okay,
his little contract.
Again, when you go on Wikipedia or the internet, like he held out. Think about this. He was the best pitcher. And by the way, the Oakland A's were awesome. They won it in 72, 3 in a row. Reggie Jackson, the whole bit. I think he was drafted the same year as Reggie. Okay, so at 71, he goes 24-8. What does he do? He holds out for 1972 because that was before free agency. They had no power. He held out for more money, didn't pitch till like September. And then they didn't really they put him in the bullpen. They totally screwed him over. He came back so they owned a 73. He came back and they won the World Series in 72. 73, he was 20-9. 74, he was 22-11. Blah, blah, blah. Then, of course, he ended up leaving there because he hated the owner of the A's, Finley. But as his career went on, he was a power pitcher, and power pitchers lose their power. We all know that. He pitched in 3 World Series, didn't get a win. His ERA stats are, in terms of postseason, weren't that great. So a lot of people don't remember him kicking ass in the playoffs. But then he got caught purchasing cocaine with like 2 or 3 other guys and did 3 months prison time. Imagine like cocaine right now. What do? They actually like promote it on Instagram. Like, oh, check it out. You know what I mean? Guys doing coke. This is cool. Like they even sell the mirror that hey.
Yeah, right.
John
works better with a $20 bill.
Yeah, there we go. You know what I mean? I thought he's definitely close to a Hall of Famer. But he passed away a couple years back, cancer. But Vida Blue back in the day was one of the premier pitchers in Major League Baseball for 5 years. I did not get a chance to talk to my brother about this because he's 5 years older. He's definitely going to be like, oh, Vida Blue, forget about it. But he was sounds
like a brand.
Right. Now they also had a guy named John Blue Moon Odom was on the staff who I met in Georgia about 6 times golfing with him, which was awesome. He's the one who told me that story of somebody bunted on him when you're not supposed to bunt. He told him next time he got up, he threw right at his back, first pitch. And then
right between the numbers. So
the guy gets on first base and he says, you do that again. And the guy's supposed to be bunted again. And he told him, as he told me his story, I said, what do you mean you just told him? No, as he was walking off the field, I said, I'm gonna hit you next time. Next time he got up, boom, hit him right in the back. I kicked out of the game. I love that stuff. Anyway, so Vida Blue is my card. Older people are gonna laugh their ass off. And younger people, well, it's a cool name. I'm going to name if I ever have another kid, I'm going to name him Vida Blue or Alberto VO5, depending on
there you
how
go.
I feel.
That's perfect.
So who do you got?
Not as interesting as Vida Blue. That's for damn sure. I literally grabbed this one on the top of the card last second. I was like, screw it. Here we go. I forgot the card. Let me grab it real quick. I wound up grabbing a shortstop from the New York Metropolitans. This card was made in 1991. According to this card, he played for the Mets for 5 years. Shortstop. Batted a smooth 219 over his 5-year stretch. His best year, I believe, was 1989, where he batted 231. So he's batting 6th for the Yankees currently. Not a lot of power. Not a lot of power at all.
I'm going to know this guy, but I know I'm going to know. If you played 5 years with the Mets, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Dave Magadan?
No, it wasn't Steve Magadan. He's from California, born in 64, so an older gentleman. But this is Mr. Kevin Elster. Kevin Elster.
He was good for a while. He did something. Kevin Elster did something shitty. So there's a story behind him. Did he get caught in the
I hope not.
steroids or
Kevin Elster?
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Oh, he ended up on the Yankees. So there's a story with him. See, the limited amount of research you do. Sometimes how about 3 minutes worth of any kind of prep for this Jimmy Palumbo show?
Like I said, I'm an encyclopedia when it comes to like Dallas Cowboys, former Dallas Cowboys players.
But that's like,
but like Kevin Elster, I'm not giving you like a full biography.
You gotta just look him up. It takes 5 anyway.
Maybe that'll be my third book that I write.
Okay, that's right. We have because we have a guest coming on later who writes books. Something Dave and I. There goes Dave with his gallon jug of shit. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna have a sponsor for that moment. Sponsored by
Poland Spring.
Poland Springs. Dave Sturcho, because someone said drink more water, and there you go. All right, so we got Kevin Elster and Vida Blue, and that's it. Which brings us to Patreon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this just in. Late last night, we were mired in a slump at 38. I was sad because Darryl Strawberry was one of my favorite Yankees back in the day. To me, he's a Yankee, not a Met, pissing off Met fans all over the world.
I don't know about all that.
I know he's a Met. Of course he is. But he was great. He hit 3 home runs in a game. I went to the game, so I love him. We have a 39. We have a 39. Kevin Marzola getting involved here. He just stopped by to say hello. Kevin, a buddy of mine, lives in Mawa, is a huge fan of the show.
I'm sorry. I'm only laughing because like you just said, like he just stopped by. So it's like as people are trying to leave your house, Jimmy, like, oh, wait. Like one more thing. I got this Patreon. Can you?
No. Last night, I got the mail. I got the email last night that I'm up to 39, which is exciting to hear, Shay. But he came over actually to help me with an audition, which I'll get to later when I tell you what I had to do in the audition.
Oh,
Very
boy.
Embarrassing. But we are now at 39. So
congratulations.
Yes, and I just want to give a shout out. Who did I say I want to give a shout out to? I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Greg Alperin and also my nephew John Henry Riccardi, who does not really listen to the show, and of course your friend and mine, number one Patreon Alex Detzena here in Mawa. So that's it. So Patreon, we are at 39. It's exciting. Fans are on their feet.
Looking for the big 4-0 next.
We got to get to 40. We have to get 40. Come on. And we're a couple of weeks away from our 3rd year anniversary here at Shea.
This is true. Wow.
So it's exciting things going on. Let's get to the exciting things that a couple of NFL games last week and teams that nobody cares about. I certainly don't. Chiefs, Ravens. First of all,
I'm so beyond over this shit.
I'm tired. Listen, my nephew Jimmy Riccardi, is a huge Chiefs fan, and he made that bet. If they make the Super Bowl, he gets money and enough to pay for everything. And then now he's got house money. If they win, he wins more money. But he knows he's going. Of course he is. He goes every time there, and he gets tattoos whenever they win. So he's got the whole bit. He's one of those. Please. By the way, if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, you're gonna look like Mike Tyson. They won it
5 times. I don't have one tattoo on my body. Not one.
You were eating Cheerios last.
I was 10. First of all, I was a coherent young man who was being instructed by his father as to what's going on in the football game. If
the Cowboys win the Super Bowl next year, you'll have it like across your face. Miles,
I'm gonna pull like a teardrop, like a teardrop star.
Stars coming in. Your kids are gonna have tattoos on their
like
ass.
Tyson. I'll just start out my eye like Tyson.
Well, listen, if the Rutgers ever wins in football or basketball, the whole thing, I'll paint myself red. I'll be like, I'll just be. What happened to Jimmy? He painted himself red. Now
he went in for that routine pigmentation surgery where he just goes
absolutely.
Scarlet.
I am Scarlet Jim.
That's a new color, by the way. That's a new color. What color is he? It's like Scarlet Jim.
Yeah, it's like if Rutgers wrestling wins the national championship, that's really the higher odds because they're ranked like 10th in the country, but they're like 9th in the Big Ten. That'll never happen. Chiefs Ravens. Look, you know what the bottom line is? Every year, you got through the years, you got your Montanas, you got your Brady's, your Steelers, I guess. There's always a dragon, and someone has to slay the dragon. It's just that simple. When you're talking about a dynasty, it always seems that the dragon is weak, it's not there, and then the dragon kills everybody. And did Mahomes, did the Chiefs play a great game? Like, ooh, wow. No. But you know what? They're the dragon, and until someone slays them, it's just the way it is. Hats off to them.
Now, do you see my trepidation on Lamar Jackson now? A little bit, because you keep that guy in the pocket, it's almost as if he's like just gets
little bit.
like deer in the
I don't know.
headlights.
The
He's still
game
great.
was
Don't get me wrong. He's
the
great,
game
but I'm
was
just
odd.
saying he's a little flustered. The game plan didn't look very well designed.
Yeah, I don't know if I pin this one on him. You know what? I actually thought the game was boring too, but maybe that's me.
The other one was great.
Yeah, well, 49ers Lions. Okay. Well,
Barn burner, as they say.
Well, I'm on a text thread with old people, 58-year-old people. And
bunch of guys on the couch. Like, I would have caught that.
It was me, Venditti, my cousin John, and my buddy Bobby Cristiano. And I will tell you, we are always, when we're watching any game, Monday night game, a Giant game, a Cowboy game, whatever it is, we laugh at how bad all coaching staffs are with clock management. The Giant, it's unbelievable. I guess they can't afford it because Bill Parcells used to have a guy. All his job was they would literally say, if you run it here, they'll only have 4 seconds left. Kick the field goal here because it's 3 score. This Campbell guy. Now listen, I get going for it. Regular season, very cool.
There's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow.
You do not. What are you doing? Even when you're watching a shitty game, when you're down by 2 scores, it happens all the time in the regular season. You get to like the 30-yard line, and all of a sudden it's third. It'll be 4th and 8, and you're like, well, we need to get the field goal and a touchdown. So let's get the field goal now. Don't have to rely on the onside kick. Keep our timeouts. What are you? The worst call. This show is going to air. The time it posts, it's old news already. But like, really, the most
tomorrow, Jimmy.
Boneheaded. Well, it's already old news now.
Fine.
He had a bad night. It's like you know what? It's like those people like, no man, I always hit on 17. Oh, that's what I always do. Yeah, you know what?
That's like the meme. I posted that meme. There's a Family Guy episode where he's like 20, and Peter Griffin's like, hit me. He's like 21. He's like, hit me. Like, wait a minute. What the fuck are you doing?
It. Listen, you're exactly right. And anybody sitting on the couch was like, what the hell is going on? He had a bad night. It's hard to say that. Listen, bottom line is 49ers are good. They've been good all year. I didn't think they played the Giants well, so I thought they were going to get knocked off somewhere along the line. 49ers,
Brock Purdy looks like he could,
this guy, Brock Purdy, is he laughing at
up in the air?
Everybody thinks he sucks. And next thing you know, he's the guy everyone thinks sucks, and he's always walking off like Joe Namath. The guy, he's a winner. He's got that Brady look to him. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, sure. He's got a great look to him. He's got some of his passes are incredible. And I'm just, again, I worry, like, if Debo or CMC or Kittle wasn't on this team, like, would he be this effective? Like, that's what separates guys like Brady, because Brady had nobody other than Gronk at most points of his career.
But it's true. Well, then Dak Prescott's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league if CeeDee Lamb's not there to throw to.
Have you seen Dak with no receivers? I have, and it's not pretty. So
I'm saying, so is it the receiver? Is it the quarterback? I don't know. But the funny thing is, he looks shorter, his arm strength. Like, you know what I love about it? When you watch the draft, right? All those Mel Kiper guys. Well, he's 6'9", 240, can throw a ball out of the stadium. And like, especially for a Rutgers fan, they always draft these guys like, look at, he's a big, young, strapping young fella. I'm like, no. I want the little Italian guy who's 4'2", and all he does is like, you see these quarterbacks. Oh, he can't throw over the line. I'm like, well, he couldn't do that in high school, and he threw for 97 touchdowns his senior year. Like, I want a guy who's like, I'm tired of. I love the guys who their record is in high school. He was 71-2. Like, I'm tired of these guys that fit this mold of the draft. Anyway, Brock Purdy certainly what is his record as a starter? Who's he got? 8 losses, if that. Right?
If that. He missed a couple games this year. I don't think he missed a couple games this year when they lost.
Is it possible he has like 4 losses? Am I right about that?
It's possible, yeah.
But
again, last year we were kind of hampered by the fact that he like pretty much lost his entire elbow, and then that's why the Eagles won that game. But now you have a full, healthy Brock Purdy with pretty much his entire cast of crew.
They're a pain in the ass.
And they look fucking unstoppable right now.
I just don't know if they're going to be able to slay the dragon. I just don't.
We'll see.
But you know what? Super Bowl 2 weeks. I'm sick of. Jimbo, I love you, but the Chiefs, the whole Taylor Swift thing, the Kelsey thing, I can't take it. Anyway, we're moving on from football because our teams suck. Well, let's talk about the best team in New York right now. Your New York Knicks. First of all, when Randall got hurt, I was like, uh-oh. Again, I've almost texted you saying, so far we have what, 6 weeks of, is it up to 6 weeks of good Knick basketball now in the last 4 years?
It's cruising, man. We're cruising right now.
Okay. So we've had, in the last 4 years, me and Dave have determined the Knicks have been good for about 6 weeks. Okay. And now
all encompassing.
Yeah, all encompassing.
Grand total.
If you add up all the seasons with the Knicks, all the time the Knicks are hot, it's a total of 7 weeks in the last 5 years. And then all of a sudden we're hot again. We're like, oh, here we go. I looked at this. I'm looking at standings. The Knicks are like the 6th best team in the league, blah, blah, blah.
They're right now. Then, I believe they're the 3 seed and they're half a game behind the 2 in Philadelphia.
Well, but overall, you look at wins and losses, there's only like 6 teams with more wins. And of course, Thibodeau, love him, 3 minutes to go, up by 90. Let's keep all the starters in to show the bench. Like, you got to earn your
basketball can swing very quickly. So listen, would I have drove the lane as aggressive as Julius Randle did against the Heat the other night? Probably not. But those are the.
It was a legal play. Involved. He just landed on his shoulder. I knew, you knew right away something was horribly wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
the Knicks won again. I love the fact I thought they were going to lose last night, and they won. Mm-hmm. So they won 7 in a row. God bless the Knicks. And it looks like Randall's only going to be out a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It actually benefit the Knicks. Sometimes players come back refreshed, but I hope
OG and Randall were out last night, and they still won by 20. So
because Brunson's a stud. Anyway,
absolutely.
So go Knicks. I'm wearing the Knicks jersey in honor of that. I was at the Rutgers-Purdue game on Sunday. We have to talk about something. A couple of things. The Rack Jersey Mike's Arena is an unbelievable atmosphere. Have you been to the Rack recently?
Not been there.
My brother has tickets. I bring little Miles. Dude, we sit in the 4th row. What they do in the beginning of the game, Miles is going to go out of his mind.
Miles is 2. I don't know if you can do this.
Yeah,
but maybe
do it.
Maybe my daughter.
Sit him, your daughter. My daughter loved it, even though she was a little older, obviously. But the excitement, they're just going to be like, whoa! It's very cool. That being said, the people that say the Rack doesn't need work, first of all, there's no room anywhere. You can't even, there's these carts that are in the way, and they learn that from Giant Stadium. Let's build a new stadium and only have carts. And it just needs, not the stadium, but they need to build it out from like into the parking lot where there's room, and the bathrooms are only on one side of the arena. Who does that? Like, you're on the one side, you got to walk 7 miles to go. And
Rutgers
the line, yeah, Rutgers does it. So the Rack is I don't want them to change the Rack though. It's on a steep angle. The fans are on top. It's awesome, but they need work. The team, well, we're going to discuss this. Now, I wasn't going to do this, and I should have checked with you before, Dave, about what I'm about to say, but you can always edit it out. Okay.
Oh, no.
There's a fan page on Facebook called the Rutgers Roundtable. Okay.
Were you kicked out of it yet?
I've been kicked off permanently. Okay. And I decided, and here's what they do.
Fantastic.
They just kick you off, and then they talk about you on the page without you being able to respond, forgetting that.
Wow, that's coward shit.
Not realizing that I have tons of, I not only have fans on that page, I have personal friends, my roommate from college.
So they're sending you screenshots?
Oh, yeah. It's awful.
Jimmy, did you see this one? They said you're yellow.
The reason why I got kicked off the site, and this is really why. It all started with I'm not going to mention the admin's name. The name of the page is Rutgers Roundtable. Do not sign up. It's run by people that are like, if you fart, they accuse you of murder. It's awful, and they're also glued to, I hate to say it, an ideology that is just not fair for being a fan. If you go to a Dallas website 10 minutes after Dallas loses, you're going to have people ripping on Dak, ripping on right. Yeah. You do it yourself. Like,
I do it myself. Yeah.
You get pissed, right? And then you settle down and realize, we actually gained 400 yards on the ground. And then you go through a process.
So wait, I can spoil this for you. The admin is Mrs. Wimsat.
Okay. Well, it's funny you say that. So in the beginning, all I kept on saying all year is that I didn't think Wimsat was having a good year. And I based it on like 4 categories. I go to the games, and the quarterback play is not good. That's number 1. So the visual eye candy, right? That's
the eye test.
The eye test. Okay. Number 2, friends who do not follow Rutgers. will call me up and go, dude, what's going on with this quarterback? Did the first stringer get hurt? Like there's confusion as to why this guy's playing. These are people that have no skin in the game. They don't know anything, right? And then there's the actual statistics, okay, where he's the lowest rated Power 5 quarterback. That means there's 50 quarterbacks in the Power 5-ish. That's maybe 55. And he's number 55. His completion percentage is not good. Now, we want to blame the offensive line receivers? Sure, go ahead. Still, though, someone's got to be ranked last, and it's our guy. Now, I don't hate the kid. I wish him, if he plays well, Rutgers will be very good in football. He just hasn't really done anything yet. Even though he's young, I feel like he's been there. I feel like he played on the 76 team.
Yeah, he's got 16 more years of eligibility left.
And all I kept on saying was, this guy's not, well, the other thing I said, and this is, we briefly discussed this, but I really mean it. I'm watching a Rutgers basketball game, and I see on the court, there's this signature, this sloppy signature. You can't read what it says. And I always think Rutgers doesn't handle sponsorships right. They screw it up, right? And I'm watching. I'm also like, who is that? What signature is that? It took me like a quarter and a half to realize that it's C. Vivian Stringer Court. Okay. Now, C. Vivian Stringer is a Hall of Fame college basketball coach. She coached 3 schools, took all 3 to the Final Four. She has 7,000 wins, all that. Have at it. And in the beginning, her time at Rutgers, they were very good. Okay. But what she did in the last 4 years with the COVID, and she didn't resign, she held the program hostage. That's just a fact. We had an interim coach. Who has an interim coach for 3 seasons? It's like, hey, C. Viv, step aside. But, she was probably, they could have cut her.
So they named the court after her?
So it says now. So what I did was I was like, that's awful, right? So then I realized, wow, but Rutgers basketball stinks over the last 20 years. So maybe who else? So what did I do? I did my research. I called up guys who played for Rutgers basketball, okay? Guys who, I'm not going to mention their names, it's not fair. And one of them, a couple of them were on the show. I said, hey, what do you think about do you realize they didn't even know? They were like, what? And they were rattling off Tom Young, 76, took him to the final four. Built the program. The reason why they built the rack was because of Tom Young from 70 to 76. They got better. They were very good. They were a top 20 team in the nation. Tom Young, it should be the Tom Young court. He is the reason why they built the rack. Phil Sellers scored 25 points a game for 4 years. The Phil Sellers, there's tons of other guys. White, black, doesn't matter. I don't think C. Vivian Stringer playing in front of about 1,000 people at the rack of women's basketball should, but I didn't say it that way. I just said, hey, in that kind of thing, I'd like anybody else thoughts. So many fans were like, yeah, that's a ripoff. They should do this. They should do that. The people were like, well, she's a Hall of Fame. It was going back and forth. Next thing you know, boom, I get banned.
The umpire did you God.
Yeah, I'm God. Because I wrote in my comment that, the way she handled some things, right? Mm-hmm. They thought I was talking about the Imus stuff 15 years ago. I had nothing. She handled that very well. Imus was wrong. She handled that gracefully, very well. I have nothing against her for that. What I do have against her is the team never won the last 4 years, and she wasn't there. She wasn't at the facility. Like, you're a head coach. I could say interim coach. Interim coach means like what? 6 weeks, 2 months, not 3 years. Okay.
The rest of the said season.
Right. Yeah, exactly right.
That's it. And then you're done. You're either hired or you're let go. That's how it works.
Yeah, I know she had, and the reasons were legitimate. She had some medical issues, stuff going on with COVID. I get it. But then COVID went away and she still wasn't there. So you ask players, and a lot of people will privately tell you there was some shenanigans going. Anyway, I get banned for that. Then I'm hard on Rutgers when they lose. There's no bigger Rutgers fan than me. I've been 40 years in. They lose a lot. It's not a very successful athletic program. I'll argue that to the death, and I'm pissed about it. I want to win games. I think we should be better. So then he was getting on me for some stuff getting a little hard on Rutgers sports. Fair enough. No reason to get banned. And most people agree. I'm getting likes. People that way. Jimmy's right. Jimmy right. So then he bashes the admin bashes Rutgers basketball. Okay. The game I was at. And their head coach. Okay. Bashes Peichel, who's bringing in Harper and Bailey, the number 2 and 3 ranked players in the country, and has resurrected the program. He's bashing him. So I typed in, I was like, hey, now, relax. If you say that about Wimsatt, Rutgers football team, you get banned. Boom. I'm gone, right? So then I realized, wait a minute. Right? Well, this is nuts. So then I said, you know what? I was in one of those moods. I'm like, no. You're not allowed on the site. The site, I can't even search it. I can't access that site anymore. Okay. So I decided to go on Rutgers basketball page and the Rutgers, and I went, hey, anybody involved with that awful page, the Rutgers Roundtable? And I was like, I was explaining myself, and you should have saw the responses. Oh, Jimmy, that guy, he's crazy. He loves C. Vivian Stringer. He loves Wimsatt. And all of a sudden I'm starting to notice, I'm like, wow. And then some people were saying some rough stuff. Well, he's really into certain things, color of your skin. I'm like, no. I'm not going there at all. First of all, any sports fan, I don't care if you're from Mars, yellow, green, white. I don't care about every legitimate sports fan. I don't care unless the guy is I'm trying to think of what ideology. Yeah, I mean, listen, O.J. Simpson behind center, Rolls Royce, got a man first down. I'm like, O.J.'s great quarterback. I mean,
and you're doing this in your living room.
Yeah. There we go, first down. Look at the juice, right? I'm teasing about O.J., but still, even that, like, you're a fan. You just want to win. You don't really care, right? Mm-hmm. So then I decided. Then people were like, one guy said, "Good riddance to you. You can be a little hard on Rutgers." I said, "That's fine." But that's not a reason to ban me. And by the way, do you know what round table means? You sit around the table and you have dissecting thoughts and you go back and forth. It's so stupid. This guy is so wrong on so many levels. Then I decided, like a joke, you would have hated me for this, but I don't care. I did.
You didn't create a burner account.
No. I wrote like I was like, one guy was defending me, and I said, listen, I graduated Rutgers. I was roommate with a basketball player. I'm really good friends with 3 former Rutgers basketball players as well, and a football player. I was on the Scott Farrell show on Sirius XM talking about Rutgers back when they had the Louisville days, 2005, whatever the hell it was, when no one was talking about Rutgers football nationally. Matter of fact, I had a guy, Alabama was shitty one of those years, and I remember telling him, I was like, they were like, oh, we down here in the South. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? We're ranked higher than you are right now. Like, I was one of those guys, Briefly, we were better than Alabama for about a month. So and then I'm on the cover of Rutgers Alumni Magazine.
It's right behind you. It's behind you on the set.
There it is, right there, bro. Listen, Mr. Admin, if you're listening, right? And also, I got a podcast where I've had 5 former. No, I had the softball coach on. I had Brian Ellerby on, Terrell Willis, which I deny anybody to listen to that podcast.
It's a great episode.
Because Dave, you're not you want Rutgers to win, but you're not a diehard fan. You're not really a college football guy. It's fine. Even you were like, oh my God, he's saying stuff about Rutgers that was really like totally sabotaged his NFL career. I haven't been able to confirm any of that as of yet, but no one emailed me.
No one's denying it either.
No one's denying it either, right? And so, and this guy's banning me just for being annoyed when I go to a Rutgers Purdue game, and the little guard on Purdue eats our lunch all game. I yelled out from the stands, like, guard him. You need to guard him like that. If I was a head coach, I would tell our young recruit, like, hey, guard him. And then anyways, when the Rutgers loses, it's just another game where I'm walking out of a Rutgers facility with that slouch. I feel like I'm walking into Kohl's. Funny joke if you see my stand-up. There's just everyone just has this. You go in so excited and you walk out like you're coming out of a wake. I'm frustrated. I don't think we win
Can't
enough.
tell.
And even that, right? And this guy's banning me for just saying that C. Vivian Stringer, does she really deserve the name on the court? / Gavin Wimsatt didn't have a great season? I want to know who thought he had a good season. There's zero in the stands. Anyway, you don't ban someone off a site unless I didn't curse. I never curse. I'm aware. Listen, I'm sure I made mistakes in social media, but I'm aware that when you post something, you got to watch. I mean,
we haven't banned you off of Chop Sports yet, so
no, but you probably almost crossed the line once or twice, but now like, hey, you got to watch. You can't, you have kids, you have a family.
Well, it's funny. It's so funny because now the running joke of Chop Sports is like whenever anybody puts something about Dak Prescott, or Cowboys, there's people that comment like, better watch out. Let's see if the admin's in a good mood today. You know what I mean? Right. Like, but I don't ban anybody. This is sports talk. It's the whole premise of exactly why we created the whole thing.
Yes, it's like the Cowboys losing the playoffs. Yeah, Dave's not happy. Dave's upset.
Don't fucking bother me.
I mean, but
that's it.
But like, where it's a problem is that's Monday. But like, if it's Thursday and you're in bed. It's like, Dave, hey, bro, are you all right? Like, what are you doing?
Like the guy from Ferris Bueller. He just wouldn't get out of bed for that whole time. Yeah.
So it's like, and as you get older, and this will happen to you, I'm telling you, as you get older, you get off my lawn. Losses bother you less and less. And then every now and then it's going this way, like, oh, okay, I'm getting better. And then one loss will come, and it could be a regular season game. You're sitting there, and a loss bites you on the ass. You've been good for 3 years calmly. It happened to me, I think, last year with the Giants. I've been good when the Giants lose. They suck anyway. They annoy me. And then all of a sudden you're watching a game and something happens. And I was ready to drink vodka for like fucking 2 hours after the game. And I realized, what am I doing? It's okay to be a little pissed off, fanatical. We're jerk offs. But as long as you don't curse, as long as you don't call anybody by name. Anyway,
listen, you've had your guests waiting for 37 minutes.
Yes,
I think it's time to bring on your boy.
I'm sorry. And all right, let's bring
it's
him
a great
on.
rant. Well, great rant.
And so I didn't mention the guy by name, but Rutgers Roundtable, please, everybody on there, support Jimmy Palumbo. Matter of fact, Dave, I might try to get you on there just to be a monitor.
What the hell? I'll do it.
Anyway, all right. So now, Absolute Eyewear Day here at Shea. I'm all over the place with this show, and I apologize for that. My rant, and Adam's going to kill me, my guest. But Absolute Eyewear is sponsoring Jimmy's guest here at Shea.
Wow.
42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey. Craig and Johnny Michaud, family-owned, brother and sister, licensed opticians, full-service optical. Go check them out. They're down by the train station, 732-326-3937. Jaybird, hope you're having a good time in Vail. Now, we have a guest here. He's already up here live on the video. Oh, God, he's drinking out of a Met cup. That's gross.
And not only that, he's chewing his drink. He's doing that.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time live here on the Jimmy Palumbo Show, your friend and mine, Mr. Now, I might blow the way. It's Adam Sietz, correct?
That is correct. Correct.
I was like, maybe he has some kind of new, that was because I met you like 25 years ago. Maybe in the new age, it's like, no, Jimmy, it's actually Adam Sietz. Some kind of name, I don't know. Anyway, Adam Sietz, welcome to the program. How we doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Jimmy?
I'm doing good. Now, listen, Adam, I was Googling you. Very pleasurable to Google you. And I forgot, I've done a lot of voiceovers, okay? But you first of all, I'm like a shitty point guard on the 84 Knicks compared to you. You have done, first of all, I'm going to, Dave might know this now. Okay. Does your daughter watch Dora the Explorer at all?
Not yet, but we're aware of it. Yeah.
Okay, it's coming. That's coming, of course. And this guy, Broomstick, Dwarf, Lalo, Pole Troll, Twin Mountain. You did like 16 episodes of Dora Explorer. You did a bunch of episodes of Go Diego Go, another show that's on. By the way, for adults, these shows are unwatchable. Kids are mesmerized by them. And he also, I didn't know this. You wrote and started a Pop Pixie. Am I getting this right? Dude, you're like a legend of these kid shows. You've also been on other shows. I remember you were great on that show, Ed, I was a huge fan of that show.
That was a fun
He's
show.
done Third Watch, Sopranos. Good evening, everybody. And you also, first of all, you have a booming voice, which I'm talking a lot because I want to build you up a little bit.
That's all right, Jimmy. No worries.
But he also has a book coming out literally this week called Unscripted Success with Improvisational Thinking from the Omni. So listen, How you doing, man? What's happening? Where are you living now? You still doing the voiceovers? Where
I am. I left the city a little while back. I moved outside to New Jersey, and then from Jersey, we're now in Bloorveld, New York.
Oh, okay.
It's like right across the Bergen County border. I'm 11 miles from the bridge, so I get in and out pretty quick.
Okay, you're not far from me at all. I'm in Mawa, so.
Yeah, no, we just bought a car in Mawa. Joe Height.
Joe Height. Route 7. I have a story about Joe Height. We'll leave it for after the show. But hey,
well, you guys were doing your baseball cards. I was like, ooh, I was so into cards and at the worst time in 1987. They're worse shit now. But right, I went and I found these. These are from the Super Bowl in the wide right. Super
Is that
Bowl.
Marv Levy right on top?
Marv Levy. That's Marv. And I
Everybody
never opened them. So I have like 4 of these things because my sisters could give a shit. My father is not here anymore. So I got these little books with the cards and all that stuff. And,
Great.
And
Don't ever throw them out.
Awesome. No, never.
Ever throw them out. First of all, now, do you remember Vita Blue?
I do remember Vita Blue. My boy, my son Noah, he's my middle boy. He's upset. Well, not as much anymore. He's becoming a fish head. It's kind of a little different than a Mets fan. But this kid actually, he would go to the ball games and get a baseball. Always. I never got baseball in my entire life. I've been to a lot of games.
Okay. I'm even worse. For years, not only did I never get a ball, I don't think I came within 50 yards of a ball, except for one time a ball came flying out and it hit off a lady walking by. We were in a row with the bar in front, and the ball was on the floor. I saw it and I was like, oh, I got this. Forgetting that we're at Yankee Stadium, I got like, my arm moved 1 inch and 70,000 arms grabbed it, walked away with it. I was like, oh my God. So your kid's lucky that way. I love that.
No, but it's not. He's annoying as possible. You can't imagine. He would come. We go into Shea or City Field, and literally the doors open. He runs in. He goes to the bullpen, and I forget the guy's name. Funky name is the bullpen coach, and he would look up and go, ugh. Here's the ball. Get the hell out of here. Leave me alone. So he literally got, this is what's amazing, something like 65 or 70 games in a row where he got at least 1 ball.
Wow.
At City Field, he once got 6. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that's never in one game. We go, it's close to the end of the season, and we go and we're in a section right by the bullpen. He ends up getting enough balls because at this time he has a bucket of balls. He gives them away. He doesn't keep them anymore. So he finds the kids in the section and says, hey kid, here's a ball. Hey kid, here's a ball. Hey,
that's
kid.
nice.
And he had like 9 balls.
He's going to be he'll be a great drug dealer.
Yeah. There's 1 kid left and he's in like a Braves jersey and knows like, I'll get you a ball. And he ended up with 11 balls in 1 game.
That's
harassing.
Now these are just bullpen coaches tossing them up, or is he catching foul balls?
He's gotten balls from like we were at one game. We're in the Coca-Cola corner, and he goes and some drunk guy who's like sitting
the Coca-Cola corner.
That's what they call it. I don't know if they changed it now. It might be the Pepsi. I don't know what the heck it is. But in the corner, he goes.
Shit.
This drunk guy's like, "Yo, Conforto, throw the kid a ball." So Noah leans over. Conforto throws one. Noah catches it. What a throw. What a catch. I'm worried he's going to fall over, but now I'm diehard. I grew up. I actually
you're a big Met fan. We accept that. We're Dave and I are both Yankee fans.
My father's a Met fan, so it works.
Yeah, I root for
Mets and the Cowboys.
They face each other. I have no problem with the Yankees losing.
Are you a Jet fan? Are you a Jet fan?
I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Rangers fan.
Hey, go Rangers.
Well, the Giants killed my father, so that's kind of why I
okay. I should have been dead 2 years ago based on that. I understand that. Well, maybe someday we can get you and your family together with Dave's family, because Dave's little boy, who Dave insists is going to be a Cowboy fan, until I found out that Dave's wife's family has Jet fans. So my goal in life, and the reason why I do this podcast, is to make Miles a Jet fan. The only reason. And I thought we had it. We get Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, Miles is going to be a Jet fan. You're screwed. And that lasted about a minute and a half.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's classic.
All right, so listen. Now you've done a bunch of shows. You and I, just so we know, we used to audition together back in the day. with Abrams. I think you were with Abrams and Billy and all that.
Yeah.
And back in the day, and now, of course, I say this, it wasn't that long ago, but in terms of pandemic and MP3s and voiceovers, I feel like I'm Michael Landon talking about Little House on the Prairie now, because believe it or not, you used to have to go into the city and go to a casting director for a voiceover
and leave.
And in that room were voices like you, the voice of God, these different voices, and jerk-offs like me and Artie Lang and some other people. And you had like a 40-1 shot of booking it, but everybody was good. If you were signed with Abrams, you were pretty good. But you would be like, all right, 40-1 shot. I'll take those chances.
Now it's 400.
Now it's 4 million to 1, because all of a sudden, like, I talked to someone who lives in, like, Idaho. He's like, yeah, I got an agent in Idaho. I just read for the national Pepsi campaign. I'm like, what? Anyway, so we used to sit, and what you do, you sit and the old timers, including you and I, like, once you read over the script, because you can, go in the room and you read it.
You're ready. You're smooth. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I usually looked at the script, and you were this way too, for about 8 seconds. All right, Pepsi, you're the one. Pepsi's good, tastes good. I got that. And then all of a sudden, now you're like, how you doing, Adam? Let's go. And then there was, of course, back in the day, there was chicks there reading for stuff. There was broads all over the place. So you just sit there, you're talking, you're flirting, who's doing, and then every now and then a star would come in, someone who's on like a big show, and you start bullshit. I love
people that are stars now that when we were like J.K. Simmons. I remember J.K. He was chubby. He was chubby, and he had just gotten the job on Oz as the gay Nazi, which we always love to say, J.K. He's the gay Nazi on.
Right. Or how about when
he lost the weight and he just won an Academy Award? Hello, he will never give up. I don't know if everyone knows, but J.K. Simmons is the voice of the yellow M&M. For years.
Oh shit!
And he will not give it up. Now that you'll see, you'll understand. You'll hear him.
And I think Rob Pruitt was the blue M&M, or was he the
Paul Christie? I think is the red.
Yeah, unbelievable. Of course, I was the voice of Washington Mutual Bank, which led the charge of the 2008 banking collapse in our country.
That was my bank, which became Chase Bank. Yep.
Yes. Oh my God. But so we'd sit around and bullshit. That's how you got to. That's why I feel bad for the kids today. There's no locker room. They don't get to learn. And then you go in. You remember there was some, especially female voices. Billy had some killer voices. You see some unassuming woman come in the room, and you're like, in your head, you're like, "Oh, fuck is that girl?" Though. So you find out, she's the voice of Macy's. Oh, or someone would be like, like one of those commercials that airs since you're like 5 years old. Yeah. Oh, that's her. Like, she's been doing that. They're casually making $500,000 a year going, Macy's, the place to go. And that gets attached to every commercial.
I did an episode of the Wonder Pets, and it was called The Love. Actually, it'll probably be airing in 2 weeks. It runs on Valentine's Day pretty much every year. And it's me and Sherry Renee Scott is her name. I didn't know who she was, but in the Broadway world, she was Aida, she was Ursula. She's been around, and she's in there, and she's singing, but as like the voice of Betty Boop, but so clean. I'm singing like this because I'm a male of Vogue, and it's just amazing.
Do you remember Do you remember the women that would, the 50-year-old women that would play the 6-year-old kids? Dave, it's the most creepiest thing in your adult life.
I've seen the people that like play like Bart Simpson and shit. It's like an older woman.
No, you have no idea though. You're in a room and you're thinking, oh, they're just not going to do the kid voice. She's going to play the mom in this little ad, and all of a sudden, this voice comes out of this 55-year-old lady. I'm not professional, love. I would always go like, I would stop. I would be like, whoa. What the hell's that? It's like, and people are like, oh, she's really good. I'm like, it's creepy as hell. I don't want to be near this lady, because that's like, they stab people in the middle of the night because they had that creepy voice.
Do you remember Hal Douglas? I think that was his name. He was in a world. He was that.
Oh, the movie voice guy?
He was the original. And wow. I didn't know who he was, but I've known the voice. And I ended up booking this a trailer for Jerry Seinfeld's Comedian. And I'm on camera, and I'm just like, I'm the voice, I'm the engineer, camera, take one, whatever I say, I don't even remember. And then you could see Tom Papa. I don't know if you know Tom, comedian. Yeah. You could see his face just reflecting in the glass wall, and he's back there. And it's one of the funniest trailers I've ever seen, because it's a knockoff of voiceover guys who's like,
Right,
in a world where laughter is king. No in a world, Jack. No in a world. Oh, in a land before time. No in a land, Jack. A renegade cop. No renegade. You robot renegade cop. It's just so funny.
You guys familiar with the comedian Pablo Francisco?
Oh yeah, I love.
He covered that movie voice in a great skit.
So
that's no, it's listen. I remember trying to sometimes when I'm doing voiceovers from home, auditioning. When we were younger, Artie and I, we just would go up to the microphone and be like, "That's why I shop at Macy's." We just as if I was a regular jerk off, and then all of a sudden I'd go, you'd be in a spot, and some people would be more like they would put notes on their script, like,
yeah,
that's why I go shopping at Macy's, like up and down.
Bill Lobley. He would have notes all over. Love that guy. Talented as hell.
Talented guy. But I'd be like, Bill, what are those? I said, and he would be a little protective, like, no. I'm like Bill, if you gave me those notes, I wouldn't be able to read the heights of anything. Like I realized I'm reading it like a baboon. And then I went through a phase last year where I'm like, Jimmy, you're thinking too much when you do these voiceovers because now you got the cans on. You're all alone. I'm like, Jimmy, just read it like me. I still don't book shit now, but I'm always in the game. I get a call back here and there, but I do a little better in the TV film world than I do voiceovers now, which I don't understand. I still think I got decent pipes, but you got the booming voice, man. You always
I used to do a lot of on-camera stuff, and I ended up freaking doing Broadway. I never took an acting
I can't
class.
believe you did talk radio.
I did talk radio barefoot in the park and the Ritz. But the cool thing is I had no clue. I never acted. I never had a script that I had to memorize, let alone have to hit a mark. And I felt like a complete fraud until literally the night it opened up and it worked out. So,
that happened to Dave when I cast him in Beer League. He was like, wait, I have to like act now? What is this?
I got the background in the pro wrestling business, so like that kind of helped.
Yeah, that kind of helped until I had to until I had to direct you a little bit.
One of the first commercials I got was as a pro wrestling announcer. Oh, no yeah, baby. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was so Miller Lite, one of those brought to you by Dave spots. It was a fun spot.
That's great. All right. Well, listen, first of all, you lost like 7,000 pounds, which is awesome.
Yeah, not a whole year.
That's wonderful. No, I think it's great because you were, listen, I know how hard it is to lose weight. I've covered that on this show.
To nauseating levels.
I was actually on.
I am down 11 pounds.
Shut up, Jimmy. Let him talk.
Gotta get involved.
On 420, at 420, in 2020, in the 4th month, I weighed over 420 pounds.
Wow.
So, holy shit.
I'm excited. I lost 11 pounds.
Did you do the old surgery?
I did do a surgery, but the truth is that was not the answer because, I lost weight. I lost like 30, 40 pounds, but
you got to tighten up.
Kind of thing. No, the key is I started putting the food in like the tracking and the Fitbit.
Okay.
And once you actually see what the hell you've been eating and see, oh my, a cheesesteak is 2,500 calories just for one. Well, I've had a cheesesteak and 3 slices of Sicilian, half of Diet Coke. I mean, I could tell you. No wonder I was that huge. I was just completely not conscious of it until I got conscious and decided, hey, I want to be guys in their 60s, that size, they don't exist. So I got my shit together. I lost 160. It was 170. It's now down to 160. It happens.
Now,
but
it's bulking season. Don't worry about it. It's bulking season.
Baby. Oh, yeah.
Well, the good news is we're both with the same talent agent now.
Yes, Stuart Talent.
Yours officially says it, but I don't know what the hell. I'm still like a free agent, unsigned veteran coming in, backup quarterback. I'm one of the best back. I'm gonna create my new podcast. Gonna be called Jimmy Palumbo, backup quarterback. I'll come in there with a couple games.
Quarterback.
So now let's talk about your book. So you know what? I read the little blurb on it, but I want to know what from the author himself. It's coming out this weekend on Amazon. Amazon, all that stuff. What is your book about? What inspired you to do it? I know keep in mind, I know you do a lot of improvisational comedy and stuff like that over the years, but tell me how you merge this with the business world and life world.
Well, what's cool is I've been telling stories for years. I've been doing side work, hosting, emceeing, judging. I do a little coaching here and there, a lot of coaching of ADHD kids and adults and parents. Because, when I was a little boy, they labeled me disabled. I was labeled disabled. And, they said, he needs to be evaluated. So they evaluated me. And like when they came out, they're like, he's brilliant. He's got an IQ off the charts, Mensa level brilliant, but he has severe ADHD. And life is going to be very difficult. So, like jobs are going to be hard. Relationships, competition sports, no, not a good idea. So all this, and they're literally telling my parent right in front of me. So I'm so brilliant. I went home, I picked up a dictionary. Deficit, less than. Oh, shit. Disorder, disabled. All the. So I didn't like that. Some people like the D. I don't like the D. A lot of D words there. So I re-diagnosed myself with hyper awareness. I got a faster than normal brain. So in a way, it's like it's neurodiversity. Nobody can see it. Nobody has a clue that there's, stuff going on in here, that it's like all over the place. But in certain ways, it has been what helped me to succeed in the things that I wanted to do. Because number one thing about a hyper-aware person is if you're not into it, it's not going to happen. So you really have to be interested and want to do it. So, I started working with my dad. Then from there,
like me watching a Met game. I get it.
And, it was me the same year. I just couldn't do it. I was so disgusted and pained and hurt. It never leaves. It never leaves being a Met fan.
It doesn't. So,
but no. So the growing up and for my son, my baby, who's now going to be 15 in 2.5 weeks, he was born. I was in the cafeteria eating horrible foods, probably, and I started writing content. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, here and there, and so that was 2009. So little by little, I've had all this stuff. I had planned on maybe doing this or that. I've been, so you got to do a podcast with the energy, and it was. I don't know the effort and the time. So I just, I would do a little bit of this and that, and I've kind of been consulting and coaching, and the voice world, when it came to COVID, it shut down. Doing comedy, shut down. So I started doing a lot more like workshops and seminars and lectures and team bonding, building. They're already a team. We bond them, getting together. I do a lot of icebreakers where I kick off a big event and get people up off their ass and moving. And my main thing is
I just drank cheap wine.
I was just talking about my publicist. She said, and it's not my publicist. I don't have it's a friend that's a publicist. She said, what is it that we gotta write a book. I'm like, why? I said, well, I got a lot of content. Well, we'll start it. This was in September. So by Christmas, It was done. It was done. I had a lot of stuff. It's like 200 and something pages. And it's like, holy shit, it was done. So the one thing I had it done, as I said, about a month ago, and I've been waiting for a friend. Like she said, oh, now that we're going, do you have anyone that would do a forward? I'm like, oh, a forward. I'm thinking, we've been in the business. We know some celebrities, some cool name. And then there was this guy who wrote a book called Faster Than Normal. His name is Peter Shankman. He's another speaker. He travels the globe and talks about public relations and customer service. In fact, they've said he's within the top 10 global influencers in that world. And he's just a really cool dude. So I asked him if he'd be interested. He said, oh, I'd be honored. So I had to get him. He had to read it. So it's like, and she's like, oh, how long is it going to take? I was like, I don't know. He's got to read it, doesn't he? So he's literally in Mexico on vacation. I sent it. He gets it. He reads it. And it's been about a month. And she's like, when are we eating? Maybe we should just go to print. I'm like, it'll be worth it. Trust me. I don't want to pressure him. He's doing me a favor. And so I said to Elle, hey, when you're done, maybe, just little hints, hey, it was done. Can you record it so I can put it on the audiobook also? He said, let me finish it. When I write it, if you like it, I'll record it. So yesterday morning, I got this thing. And like halfway through it, I started getting choked up. I lost my mom in July. I lost my dad 20-something years ago. And like, this is one of those moments when I read what this guy just said about my book and me. It's like, like my mother wrote it and handed it to him to hand in.
That's awesome.
And it was so cool to feel that, and like the validation and like, okay, because again, we in this business, we have the inner critic, this self-doubt, this constant belief that I'm not good enough.
We call it
somebody else is better.
We call it bitter Jimmy days here.
Yeah.
And bitter Dave. Usually it depends on how our sports teams do, but we have bitter days. I call it bitter Jimmy. Dave calls it bitter Jimmy.
The main thing about the book is that it's more about just getting out of your head and selling. It's about selling it also. I mean, I did want to have some point in there for business for it to be, but it's like, I don't want to say it's a self-help, but there's a lot of shit in there, of the stuff that I've dealt with, being 400 plus pounds, being divorced, being neurodiverse, deciding I don't want to do what my father did. Now it's my company and I now got to run it. And my big sister's going to work for me. I'll still be her baby. It was a constant battle. So it's really being willing to say, forget about it. I'm going to try this. If I don't try it now, I'm going to hate myself by the time I turn 40 years old. And my dad had passed away. So I started doing stand-up. I started doing improv. I don't know if you've ever seen Comedy Sports. There are 25 of them. They're all over the country. And we were the South Florida team and we were good. And we thought we were really good. Then we went to this national championship and we saw how bad we were and so how good it could be. Next year we made a little showing. Third year and then the next year we kind of took it. So it was like it was amazing. That's when agents were coming and saying, hey, you should do this stuff. I was like, I'm the production but nah. So I started and I got a headshot and I did a commercial and I did a stand and then of this and that, and I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. So I kind of pushed that business aside and I moved to New York and I got a Woody Allen movie right off the bat. And then I got Celebrity Deathmatch and Dora the Explorer within the first 2 weeks.
What did you do for Celebrity Deathmatch?
I did a whole bunch of episodes. I'm Larry Flint. I'm Penn Teller. Is this your car? A whole bunch. Some of them are horrible. Some of them I look at them and go, oh, but I guess, you're auditioning over a telephone.
Right.
You're literally calling the MTV voicemail and leaving a message, and there's no script. You just give them now impressions.
You know what? I think I was the voice of Kid Rock.
There you go.
You had to do it over the phone.
No shit.
Do it over the phone.
Yeah, I gotta look at my own IMDb. I did one of those, and you said telephone. I'm like, wait, I think I did one of those things or something.
It was on the phone. Yeah. So great story. I was just telling it the other day. I'm leaving, recording one of those, and as I'm walking out of this place called Sync Sound, Metallica is walking in.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, hey guys, how you doing? Zero. No acknowledgement of my existence in any way, shape, or form. I went.
That's what happens when you do a podcast.
Yeah, of course.
This is actually the start of the demise of your career by doing this, by the way. So just buckle up.
I didn't really know them, but it was so funny that they. I knew some of their music, but I wasn't like a big fan. I'm more of like, I don't know, whatever. But I started to become a fan after they completely did not acknowledge my existence. It was so rock and roll, baby. That was so gold.
That's very cool. Big time band. That's very cool. So what is this book? It's not a showbiz book per se. It
talks about the story of how I ended up in. My father was a comic for years. He was a Borscht Belt comic, and he and his partner, they did a record act. They were inspired by Jerry Lewis. Used to come on himself. It was before Dean Martin. He'd come up at the Browns Hotel in the Catskills. He'd put a record on of a woman singing opera. And then he would.
I remember him doing that.
He would lip physically, and it was great. My dad and his best friend Barry, at like 16, they took Spike Jones music. Spike Jones, real wacky kind of music. And that's what they do. And they made it to the Ed Sullivan Show. They did pretty good.
Wow.
And then Barry's wife, he got married, and she said, you got to get a real job. And so he left, and then Dad tried with someone else.
Me and Dave were like, yes.
Life gets in the way.
That's the name of my third book, Get a Real Job, Jimmy. But
420 pounds. They say, I met my first wife, I weighed 180 pounds. One day she mysteriously disappeared as I rubbed my belly.
I had hair.
So, right.
That's awesome.
Well, that's very cool. Well, listen, everybody, Adam Sietz, now a friend of the show. Check out now. It'll be available on Kindle and all that stuff starting this weekend. Do you know that for a fact? Or
No, right now it's being reformatted so it fits on Kindle. Also the hardcover, a soft cover. And
is it going to be available at Barnes and Noble?
You know what? The woman said, there's this thing called Fiverr. So we go, and it's not $5, believe me, but you find people that are. I dealt with a guy who was in India. He's halfway across the world, and first shot out, I was like, "That's it. That's exactly what I'm looking." So we made little tweaks in there, but it turned out pretty cool. So the whole experience, man, it's like, again, I did not do school. The funny thing, you're talking about Rutgers. I had no idea how Rutgers focused it was. I love Rutgers. I grew up in East Brunswick, New Jersey.
Oh,
I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time, and I got into Rutgers and spent less than 1 full week before I told my parents, "Do not spend your money. Let's stop." I think I went to maybe one class. They got reimbursed.
Were you on Livingston campus?
I was in New Brunswick. Honestly, it's been like 40 something years. So it was in New Brunswick, Livingston.
Wow. 1 week of Rutgers.
I lived at home. That was it.
A friend of mine went the same thing. He went to one Jet game. He said, "Please get me out of here."
That was it, though. It was not for me. I had a job at Channel 9 working for the New York Mets in 1986.
Nice year. Not bad.
But a little before, they wanted me to stop doing that, to go get a job, to get a job at a television station. I want to go to college to get a job in the TV business. I had a job at a TV business. Why would I quit this to go do that? And I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do it. So it worked out. I regret not getting a degree at some.
Did you record your own audiobook?
I'm doing it right now. You should see the setup. I had a little studio kind of set up, but my daughter kept coming home from college and getting pissed off that her brother has her room. So we took my studio and gave her a room. So now I have like one of those armoires. I don't know what you call it. Like, it's like a cabinet where you open it up 2 drawers or 3 drawers down, and there's like layer. So I have it open. I have a former bottom of a shelf inside pulled out. My laptop, I have a blanket over and a mic stand holding it so it's not sitting on my head. That's professional.
Well, listen, I'm sitting here in my dining room.
I'm the only one in the studio.
A year from now, Dave coming from his basement here in Mattawa.
Yeah, right.
What are you planning on doing a podcast?
I'm considering. I had a woman that I spoke that came to me, and she does podcasts, and she came through a guy named Kevin Harrington. He was one of the original sharks on Shark Tank, and I know him from the entrepreneurial world. I used to do a lot of emceeing and hosting the Global Student Entrepreneur Awards. That was amazing. These are kids in school currently that are making income or at least revenue of a minimum of $250,000.
That kid with the bow ties. I think he got a huge deal.
When I was there was one kid.
I'm sitting here wearing a Knick jersey doing dick jokes.
Like
there was one kid that created something that captures the energy from your car when it bounces. So, I mean, as an MC, that like wrote the joke.
Yeah,
the joke was completely written right. So I didn't even have to tell the joke. You know it.
All right,
so
well, maybe you and Dave could chat later. Dave's got some things that he could maybe help you out with in the podcast world. But all right, well, listen, Adam Sietz, you if you have a podcast, I'm coming on your show.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I can't believe your resume. It's awesome. You've done so much shit. I think it's great. And we've known each other. We're still here. We're still. My
mom will send the check. You'll get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what, Adam? You could stay on the show while we're here. Why not?
Go ahead. You go. You're close. I'll listen up. I enjoyed it.
Now, I guess, Dave, how do we segue day here at the Omni?
Segue day. Yo, listen, you gotta hit this, and I'm sure Adam will get a kick out of this too, because the stories and the trials and the tribulations of Jimmy Palumbo over the years as he flips through his yellow pages of work. The first week we covered his famous Friends actually was Spin City, and then we went to Friends, and now because I'm the biggest of the big Entourage fans, and when Jimmy popped up on Entourage, I was like, wait a second, you know what I mean? I know that schmuck. Actually, I didn't know him at the time yet, but I knew him I was like, wait, he's Johnny Trino. I know this guy. Like, how is this all tying together? And it's great because the episode, they're actually trying to get a jersey whatever.
Sandy
Sandy Koufax jersey. I have to know, obviously, in your credits, and now Jimmy's credits, episode 3, I guess you could call this, or segment 3. Jimmy, working for Doug Ellen, working for those guys over at Entourage. Awesome. How'd that go?
It was awesome. First of all, this Jimmy's booking is sponsored by cornholelevel.com. 20% off your entire order. You know what? Listen, I know Adam's going to enjoy this. This is what listen, Adam, I know your cornhole needs a lot of work as well. Dave, all you do is hook this into the cornhole board and it levels it. So it's this way, that way. Buddy of mine invented this. It's awesome. Right now I have a Rutgers one. They have other teams. Cornholelevel.com. 20% off your entire order when you mention the JP show. Entourage, season 4, episode 6. First of all, I didn't realize this till later. It was directed by a guy named Mark Mylod. And he's an unknown director. He just directed things like Succession and Game of Thrones, stuff like that. I don't know if you guys know those shows. My scene, first of all, we were in Carson, California, which I guess is an hour away from where I was living at the time. And I had to play a guy, 25 going once, 30, 35. So I was in front of an auction house, which almost looked like almost like a church pew thing. That's how big it was. And I had to go in front, and Adam Ferrara and Kevin Dillon were in the audience, and they were trying to buy Sandy Koufax's jersey because they found out that Sandy Koufax is going to die really soon. And if they buy the jersey for $100, the next day he dies, the jersey will be worth, $300, a signed jersey.
Let me give you a real quick side note. Sandy Koufax is my father's first cousin.
That's wild. Again,
when he signed the agreement, he came to their house to tell his aunt, my grandmother, and the brothers, my father and his brother, were like, "Who'd you sign with? Who'd you sign with?" He's like, "The Dodgers." They were like, they were New York Giants fans. They were New York Giants fans. So then he moved away.
So funny.
Dave and I,
that's how they got into baseball, because of the relationship.
Dave and I and the Jimmy Palumbo Show have the uncanny ability to bring Carney Lansford. We do a baseball card thing in the beginning. We both chose the same card. You realize randomly. The odds of that? Randomly.
Very odd.
So in the scene, I had to go up there. Now, everybody thought, classic, because there was a guy, they had an auctioneer with baseball stuff all around the outside, and including a Sandy Koufax jersey. And everybody thought I was a real auctioneer, but the problem was it had to be scripted, like $100, maybe whatever it was. I think it was maybe $400, $450, $500. That had to be, in other words, it couldn't be random. Like I wasn't going to do this live. It's a TV show and everything. And they had to time it out when they raised their paddle and all that shit. So I had notes in front of me on a yellow pad like this that just said 425, 500, 6, whatever the hell it was. That was the predetermined amounts we chose. And I had to look up, paddle, go to the next one. So I had notes, but you couldn't see it behind the podium. So I would be like, all right, here we go. And I would just go through it. And everybody thought like I was doing it like live as if with the paddle thing, but I had some notes and some things to say. But meanwhile, I was like entertaining a group of extras and these 4 guys who they were like, Adam Ferrara came up to me, Jerry Ferrara was like, dude, you're awesome. And I'm thinking like, oh, they think I'm just an auctioneer. I'll be live at Carson, Nevada. Anyway, then I was
I don't know if Adam Ferrara was in.
Jerry and Kevin Dillon.
Let's call him Turtle.
Turtle and Drama. Then we had lunch together. The funny thing was, I'm not bashing Kevin or Jerry. I'm sitting at the table for lunch with him, and they were like talking like, oh, this pilot, that pilot, but I did this, I got this pilot, they want me for this. They're going on and on. I'm sitting like, I did Spin City, like I did, I was on, and then, but here's the weird thing. It happened. Bitter Jimmy comes out. I'm sitting there, all of a sudden I'm going like, what is, like, hey, Jerry, like, what did you do before? Like, I was in the league 7 years, 3 with the Devil Rays, 2 with the Expos before you even got to mine. Like, I'm thinking like these guys, I thought there was a little bit of, and I hope I never do this. Well, I'm too old now. Like, it's like you book one show and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I'm in the league. Like, right,
Well,
you're
listen,
in the league,
that was
but,
a
like,
very, very hot show at the time.
Yes,
So
it
they
was.
thought that,
And-
that opportunities were going to come knocking.
Yeah, but if you go to IMDb, well, after Entourage, I'm just saying like 280, 270, they're a year away from Joey Gallo's show, if you ask me. But they were very cool. I just felt out of place. I shouldn't have been sitting at their table.
I know how that feels. I get it.
Of course, what annoyed me, I don't care about saying this. Turtle was this big fat guy driving them around. What a great character, right? By the end of the show, he weighed 130 pounds.
Yeah, he lost
he
a lot of
looked
weight.
like a point guard for Hofstra. And I'm like, what happened here? Like, what happened to this guy?
He's
But they
going to
were very-
appreciate that. He's going to appreciate that Knicks jersey you got on today, by the way. He's a
that's right,
huge
man.
Knicks fan.
Oh, I know. And I actually met him once through another friend of mine. He's good friends with my buddy Anthony, blah, blah, blah. So it was very cool to do. But the weird thing was, it was doing Entourage was awesome. And I'll tell you why. I went through a phase where I booked a couple of shows that were on TV that no one knows the name of. You know, those like, it's like an NBC show on Tuesday nights. People were like, but if you say like Entourage, Curb, Friends, I went through this phase where I had very small parts on franchises like the Yankees, the Cowboys, the Knicks, the Dodgers. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people were doing very well with the Devil Rays, but nobody cared. You know what I mean? So I was also for a while there, the season finale champ. Like, I either did the first episode or the last one. Those are the ones that people watch the most. But it was a great thing to do because all my buddies were so into Entourage.
Yeah, that's a great show.
I got to meet Dominic Lombardozzi, who played Dom the cousin, arguably the biggest prick in television history. And he's a great guy. Did the family.
Was he just on Reacher? Is he on Reacher?
Did you see him in Reacher yet, Jimmy?
Yeah,
I'm almost there. I'm almost up to season 2. I'm still playing.
Oh, he's so good.
I'm watching Loudermilk. I have like 3 episodes left of that. So that's my Entourage story. I don't remember the audition as well. I know I had an audition, and I might have got it because the casting director knew me. Occasionally, I book stuff like that, but it was a hot show. All the extras were excited to be there. Anybody, and the only thing is, the jerk off guy who ran the sports memorabilia thing. I told him I have this Lou Gehrig bat from the 30s. Okay. With Japanese insignia on it for when he went over there at Babe Ruth, and he saw a picture of that. And he was like, "I'll give you $500 for it right now." And I was like, I don't know, it's for my dad. I don't want to do that. Cut to 4 years later, I'm at a jerk off library in Ramsey, and some guy's like, "That's worth at least $10,000." I'm like, "Man, I didn't sell to the $500 guy. I would have got screwed."
I have a ball from 86 Mets that I had them all sign. I literally handed and made sure, so I have one in here somewhere. And I actually wrote, how stupid I was. I wrote 86 Mets. I wrote it on the ball, so I screwed the whole value of the ball up.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, you can't sell that. You're a Met fan, 86. Never. That's a big year. I mean, I have a Lawrence Taylor signed football and 2 Jimmy. People are like, oh, if it didn't say 2 Jimmy, it's like, no, it's going to stay on my wall.
It's not going anywhere.
Jimmy, how was working with Doug Ellen?
Awesome. He was creative, fun. He was bossy boots when he had to be. He's running the show. And him and Mylod, it was awesome. They were very, very cool.
Yeah, they got a great podcast. Him, Kevin, and Kevin Connolly.
I saw that.
The podcast is cool.
Yeah, I want to listen to that. I actually read about that when I was looking up Entourage. I just wanted to make sure I had the year and the names right and all that stuff. But it was a big, popular show and probably my top 4 bookings in terms of, you say Entourage. People remember the episode. Yeah. It wasn't as iconic as the Friends one, but it was a very funny scene because at the end, it turns out Sandy Koufax's dog is going to die very soon.
Not Sandy.
And just as I say that, I rip his credit card through the machine. So they overpay. So it's a funny little scene.
Uncle Sal, right? Uncle Sal is the one who got tipped him off. Yeah,
it's so funny. But yes, that is my booking. Now, the other thing I want to talk about really quick, and the show's going a little long, but that's okay. A couple of things. We did not discuss this, Dave. Did you see the widow of Jerry Krause celebrating the Bulls? Jerry Krause was the GM of the Bulls. Did you see this?
I know
story?
Jerry Krause is. No.
Okay. Well, they honored the Bulls teams. Everybody was there, except for like Jordan was there, of course. He was gambling on somewhere. And a sport, hanging out with Pete Rose. And this woman is 84 years old. Jerry Krause has been dead for a long time now. And he's the guy who is accused of trying to separate the Bulls after their championship run. Like he sold parts and stuff. This lady, though, they had to honor this guy on paper is arguably the greatest basketball GM of all time. I mean, 6 championships. I mean, he brought in guys. They didn't win. It wasn't because of Jordan. Jordan got in the league. They didn't win in the beginning, but he put together these parts. And some reason they hated him in Chicago because he was being smart, saying, hey, some of these guys are getting old, blah, blah, blah. And when they announced the wife, they viciously booed to the point where she was, you got to look at the video. She's crying.
Oh,
Teammates are going, I'm like, you know what, Chicago? Fuck excuse my language, screw the Bulls. I hope you never win another championship. Booing the GM who put the whole thing together and then making
his wife
cry.
Yeah, like wife, not even like him, just like somebody who had probably nothing to do with anything.
Right. Google it, Dave. It was on ESPN. It's horrible.
Was it the Eagles that threw snowballs at the people?
Yes. The Eagles are the biggest scum franchise in the history.
Listen, you want to boo Santa, you can, but don't boo Mrs. Claus. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Right. Here's the other thing I read in the paper, and I saw it. I still read the paper. And Dave, I think I have to bring this up to Dave. Okay. There was a museum, one of these like modern art museums somewhere. I don't even know where it is. I believe it's New York, though. And the museum thing was 2 human beings standing, a woman and a guy, standing naked in front of each other. That was the display. That was the artwork. Okay. So a guy standing with about 2 feet, 3 feet in between, and just him looking right at in a mime way, but in no silver paint, just 2 of them staring at each other. And as you walk through the museum, you have to walk in between them. That's part of the display. Okay. Okay. Time out. It gets worse to me.
Nice set.
Okay.
No, I'm proud of you.
So the woman there, I mean, she's got her bush hanging out. He's got balls as big as church bells hanging out. Okay. The actor is suing the museum and the security because gay men were walking by and tickling his balls as they walked through. Okay, so think about this.
Sounds like a great Saturday night to me. I don't know what anybody else is talking about.
And I'm thinking,
it was in the contract.
There was no Trump supporters grabbing the girl by the pussy, right? But picture this, by the way. But this guy did this all day long. Guys were getting back online, man. So they could touch his balls. First of all, I started thinking, what if women how did you audition for that, Jimmy? Step to the side, strip off your clothes, and we're just gonna have some of the casting people walk by you
with feathers. Like,
first of all, and then another creepy thing: would you? Well, I guess it depends on what side of the field you play on. Like I'm not going to walk by and face the male. I'm gonna see some boobies as I'm going through. And
my God.
And you got to figure,
boobies,
can you imagine being boobies, bush, and balls here, Day and Shay? Could you imagine being like out with your buddies and having a couple of glasses of wine, and then the lady says you have to walk in between these 2 people? I'm not mature enough to handle that. But the guy's suing because some guy was fondling him all day long in security. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard, but I'm like, what? Imagine being the judge in that case.
In a dry spell, bro. You get a dry spell, you're like, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go pose. I'm going to pose. I'm going to get my balls touched.
I hate to interrupt you guys, but I actually have to bolt because I
got to go.
I have power in Jersey.
All right. Hey. Do you think?
Man, it's a pleasure. I really appreciate it. I click in. I see. You get the little notification. Jimmy's show is on. I'll click in here and there.
I don't even know where the hell it is now. Dave handles that. It's on.
I got it.
It's not on any of my sites. It's on Dave's stuff now. I sold my soul. I don't own the show anymore. It's really the Dave Sturcher show with Jimmy.
Well, it's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for coming in. Much. I'll talk to you later on. All right.
You got it.
Good seeing you, brother. Adam Sietz getting.
Dude. First of all. Best guest you've ever had, by the way. That was entertaining.
I told you. If he's doing a podcast, fine. Maybe you guys can get together and figure something out.
For sure.
The last thing is I went skiing this weekend. Now, let me tell you how good I am. My family.
First of all, your family's gone skiing, so you had to go make up for it and go skiing.
It's worse. It gets worse. It's worse than that, Dave. My family goes to Vail, Beaver Creek, arguably one of the nicest ski areas in the world. I decided to go 45 minutes away from Ramsey to Mount Peter. Now, it's been 55 degrees for the last month and a half. Dave, there was maybe 9 snowflakes on the mountain. There was dirt patches all over. But I wanted to go with my boy Dave. He hadn't skied in 35 years. He just wanted to try it. We decided to go up. So we drove up there. And if you weren't watching the snow, like not only you had to ski, because when you hit like a grass patch, you stopped and like I was like weaving in between. I was like, this is, and yet the place was packed. I was like, what are these people doing here? It's awful. Of course, they had a bar at the bottom of the hill, and you know how that ended. A couple of Bloody Marys later.
I got to do a new podcast with somebody else now because you met somebody at the bar?
No, this was wonderful. They had Bloody Marys were delicious. You know what? After the second Bloody Mary, I'm like, you know what? The conditions aren't that bad. A little slushy, but you know, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to give a shout out to my boy Dave. He finally did it, but he did have a vicious fall and slammed and hit his helmet in the head. And he was sore the next
helmets?
day. Like,
Helmets? We're wearing
you have
helmets?
to wear helmets. Yeah, it's a new law.
Oh, okay.
Got to wear
I
helmets.
don't know that shit.
So I want to give a shout out there. Also, a shout out to I don't think I gave my boy John Finn, who works with a friend of mine at Demarest High School, Kappa Sig. He listens to the show, and I'm going to read. If he's listening to this, he's going to laugh his ass off. I actually still have my frat rundown. He had to get a rundown of all the brothers in the house. And I looked this up, and I'm like, oh, my God, this is so embarrassing. And he was known as John T. Finn. Economics major, 87, from Closter, North Jersey, Bergen County boy. And he signed it right here. So, John, I know you're a fan of the show, and we haven't talked to each other. He was my roommate for part of my junior year. I haven't seen you. I'm glad you're doing well. You got kids now. God bless America. So I told him I'd give him a shout out. He gets it.
Nice. Final
shout out to Kevin Marzola, number 39 on the Patreon, getting involved here. We have to get Joe Rogan is furious. That's it. I forgot to mention, of course, your friend and mine, chasingmiracles.com. Shit your body needs. I'm wearing the patches as we speak. They're stem cell patches. Go to chasingmiracles.com. Talk to Tommy and Donna. They'll walk you through this. My mother uses them. She's avoiding knee surgery. Tons of people. She just got back from a conference where they have testimonials. People are like, this stuff is amazing. No needles, non-invasive. It goes in there, and it just really makes your body better, and stamina, energy, muscle, pain elimination, detox, weight loss. That's Jimmy Palumbo's losing weight very slowly, but he's getting involved here. Anyway, chasingmiracles.com, and of course, my buddy's bar, Pine Tar Bar and Grill down in Forked River. Go check it out. It's the best place in America to watch games. And Lisa Ruane at 201-725-1251. She's a therapist. Give her a call. And a special thanks to Lisa Ruane for doing a favor for me, helping someone out that I know kind of off the books. And that's very sweet of her to do that because she's good people. All right. That's it. Jimmy Palumbo Show. You can see this on Dave.
Chop Sports YouTube channel. Go check that out. And wherever you get your podcast, go on over there. Listen, what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to stock a nice lineup. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if you're a football fan, here's the Jersey Boys. Hey, if you want pop culture, here's the Dudecast. Hey, if you want to laugh, the Jimmy Palumbo Show's here. So I'm trying to get a little bit of not so much a network, but just a plethora of different variety shows.
Dave starts using the word plethora. My God, I bet against that. I was betting.
You had the under.
The guy called me up and he said, Jimmy, today's word is plethora. I'm like, I don't think so. God, I got beat by plethora.
Yeah, you did.
Wow.
You did.
That's tough. Very, very good. Very, very good. All right. Well, that's it. Yeah, I know. Just you'll on my on Facebook, you'll be able to know when it's up.
Yeah. Wednesday night, 8:30 is when it starts, and then you can watch it whenever.
I set my Facebook thing where if you post it on one, it goes to all of them, which I didn't realize that wasn't going on. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, there's a button you click. That's why I don't. Did you post it on both pages? I'm sure you did.
What, this episode? Like the preview for this episode? Yeah.
All right. So, and then Instagram and all the other ones. It's all there.
That stuff. Even on the old TikTok, it's over there too.
And don't forget, if you clip something, we got to get it to Adam so he can put it on his stuff. He promised me he would share. All right, Dave. Super Bowl is not until 2 weeks. The Knicks 7 in a row.
We'll talk about it next week.
And that's it.
And by the way, nobody out there, do not join the Rutgers Roundtable.
That's it. Unless Dave secretly joins it. And
we're about to get a little burner account action.
Yeah, off camera, we'll talk about that.
All right.